Hello, Tyler DeWitt here, national speaker. Spoke for Small Business University, Small Business Expo, and Digimarcon, which is focused on the enterprise client and the world's largest digital marketing conference. So I want to talk about combining thought leadership with digital marketing. Thought leadership is more important than it's ever been in the past 20 years. In the early days, thought leadership was not as important as what it was today. You could put a website up, say Joe Blow wrote it or whoever, and people automatically thought the person knew what they was talking about just because they was on the internet. Just like in affiliate marketing, we used to set up review pages, hire a writer, any writer, didn't even matter if she was an expert, and she would just write something on a product or service, and it was so easy to sell because people trusted it right away. And that's the reality. But back then, the reality is today is that you need a strong presence, and you need to influence, and you need to have an impact on people. And how can you do that? Well, there are many key factors that come into place. You can do speaking engagements, create content, share your content on social media, have a strong social media presence. Content and speaking makes you look authoritative, but you want to have a strong social media presence too if you can. Now don't always assume that just because someone has a strong social media presence, they know what they're doing. There are people out there that don't really have a social media presence, but they're really good at what they do. And let me tell you, those people, if they was combine social media and more content with their current skills, they would amplify their personal brand. It would be so much more easier for them to sell their products or services throughout their website. And that's what my point is. That's one of my main points here, is that there is people out there that's good, but they don't work on their thought leadership. Thought leadership is critical. I can say that 100 more times. It's very important. So if you're B2B, set up a LinkedIn page. Make sure you have a strong presence on LinkedIn. Don't overlook that stuff. And tap into, that area. Even Facebook. Facebook's a different, audience, but, different people perceive you differently when you're through Facebook versus when you're through, LinkedIn. And then go out to other websites, industry-related websites, and start asking to contribute content on sites that are very popular within your industry. So say, for example, if you're in business, you got Forbes, you have Inc.com, Entrepreneur.com. There are various content-related sites out there that are related to business. If you're in, another industry, be, attorney industry, accounting services, let's say for accounting, you would go out and you would find accounting-related content sites, or that might fall into the business category too. So you just got to do your research and find out what are the most important, content sites that you can contribute to. And if you can speak somewhere, do that, because anytime you speak, people tend to be very influenced by what you have to say. And there are ways of building your followers up faster. You even got Instagram too. I'm just throwing that out there. Instagram is a good channel. I've seen a lot of business consultants that just constantly post quotes on their Instagram, and that builds awareness. You might not see much direct sales from that, but once people start seeing your name everywhere and they start hearing from you, or better yet, when they go to Google and they type in a search and they see your name showing up on YouTube videos, LinkedIn, Facebook, or high-powered content sites, they're like, wow, this guy must know what he's doing. And not only that, it makes you appear very active within your industry, like you know what you're doing. So there again, your product or service is going to be that much easier to sell, because you're helping people make their final decision. And just like I said earlier, in the old days, people weren't that vetting. They weren't very thorough about what they did. They got online and they would just type in something and they would just, boom, they would buy right away. Today, people are not like that. That's why you got all these review sites out there. Your reputation is even more important, or it's just as important as thought leadership. Clearly, you want to have a good reputation if you have good thought leadership, or if you're trying to build your thought leadership image. So, and what's even better is that if you can get your thought leadership up to a point where you're not contributing content, There's this guy named Jay Abraham. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him, but look, Google Jay Abraham. He's the highest paid business consultant. He was actually from Indianapolis, Indiana, where I was born and raised. And now he lives out here in Los Angeles, California. This guy's worth like over 37 million. He's only got like a small team of 5 people. People pay him over $100,000 a day for his consulting. What's interesting about this guy is that I've did a lot of research on him, and every speaking engagement he does is basically paid for. I mean, he charges an unreal rate. But anyways, what I noticed about this guy is that he doesn't really contribute content anywhere. You want to know why? He doesn't have to. But yet his name appears on every damn site out there. Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc.com, all these sites. Now imagine if you had that much of an impact. And I say this because I tried looking him up, his author status, and I didn't see where he was writing or contributing content, but I see where other people are talking about him. So just imagine how big of an impact that has. Not only does he have a strong thought leadership image, but he's got people producing content for him, about him, on these high traffic powered websites. Now imagine if you could do that within your industry, and how incredible and how easy it would be to sell your products or services. Your conversion rates would skyrocket. So that's just, one of those elements out there. You got to put those marketing elements into the mix. It's how people see you. It's how everything comes together, the puzzle. It's not year 2000 where someone just got on Google and did a search and they bought something because they thought you knew what you was talking about because you wrote up an article and you appeared as an expert, and it's even said expert on your review page, and people thought you was phenomenal because you was online on the internet. You must have knew something, and that's how people used to see it. But unfortunately today it's not that easy. You got to really stand out there and have a good impression. And also, when you have a strong thought leadership image, it's going to just turbocharge your digital marketing, your SEO rankings, because people are going to start linking to you, and they're going to start talking about you, because they feel that you have good value to offer. And apparently you should, have good value to offer if you have a strong thought leadership image. So that should be it. Thank you.